Hey guys, what's up? This is Morgan, head astrologer from MorganLedInsights.com and the Insiders Club. Welcome to your weekly astrology forecast. So in today's video, guys, we are going to be talking about the astrology for June 7th through June 13th. If you are not aware, let this be your reminder that we are officially in new moon week. Now, this new moon is very special because this is also a solar eclipse. So we are continuing on the eclipse wagon, following the big gateway energy. When we think about eclipses, we think about transformation, we think about change, we think about a sense of urgency, a sense of understanding and epiphany, really coming to a place of wholeness, to a place of oneness, uncertainty, really just a place of transition, guys. So this new moon is very special. When we think about eclipses, remember that eclipses are a shadowed period where the moon or the sun are shadowed. We're talking about a solar eclipse, so there is an obscured shadow, which is that ring of fire, which is that outline of the moon obscuring and the earth obscuring the output, the energy and the vitality of the sun. So your external desires may not be as accessible or as tangible to you during this period, or as clarified to you as they typically would be during a regular new moon. However, because we are also dealing with the new moon this week that is associated with the North Node, there is this feeling of alignment, this feeling of destiny, this feeling of all of your pieces of yourself, of your story, of your narrative, of your path, of your purpose. All of those things are really finally coming back into a sense of alignment. Pieces of the puzzle, things that you may have been confused about, having a hard time really integrating the different parts of you, your different interests, the different lessons and the different learnings, the different teachings that you've acquired throughout your childhood, throughout your progress, throughout your evolution, are really now starting to come together and have an opportunity to really rebirth itself, where the sun and the moon and the North Node are going to be in alignment. Mercury retrograde is also going to be involved in this week's solar eclipse. So there is a lot of review, renewal, really coming back into renewing something that you may have put aside, or something that you may have not really understood how it was supposed to be born, or how it was supposed to be shaped, or there was some sort of learning process, some sort of maturing process that had to be done. This is a time to really explore and to experiment with things, but also understanding that we are in this mutable energy period where with the Gemini stellium, the North Node, Mercury, Venus is no longer there. Venus is now in Cancer, but we are still in this Gemini stellium with now the moon, the sun, Mercury retrograde, and the North Node. So there is a lot of focus right now on this area of learning, of experimentation, of really being curious about trying new things, practicing flexibility, practicing coming outside of your comfort zones when it comes to communication, and finding new ways to reach out to people, to stay connected, to really build your association. And with Saturn retrograde in Aquarius, really thinking about how you can build a support system, having this opportunity to kind of review the energy of Saturn in Aquarius, and now being able to say, okay, what type of support system and who can I reach back out to, kind of reconnecting with old clients, old mentors, people who really support you, people who have kind of watched your evolution and who understand you and can really support who you are, who can really hone in and alleviate and really enlighten your natural gifts, your natural abilities, the natural qualities of your personality is what this energy is kind of highlighting. And so you'll have those opportunities to really go back and revisit some of those energies this week. So that's super exciting. But anyways, guys, let's go ahead and dive into the week. As always, the new format for the video is that we will be utilizing the Google Calendar. The Insights Google Calendar for members is available through the Insiders Club. You can become a member. The link to that is in the description to the video. So make sure you join us over on the Insiders Club. We meet every Wednesday at 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So if you've ever wanted to chat with me or or talk to other people who are interested about the same things as you, then make sure that you join us over on the club. So anyways, that's what we'll be looking at, and we'll be doing the weekly forecast from. So the format will be, we'll go through each individual daily insight, maybe not going through each individual one that you see on the screen. So that's why it's important for you to become a member, because then you will have access to these interpretations. And so you can read them and be notified of these trends as they come. So we will highlight the major ones that are happening for each individual day, and then make sure that you're utilizing the timestamps to be able to come back and watch them. So like, I'm filming this and come back and watch your Wednesday horoscope, your Tuesday, your Thursday horoscope, your Friday. This is going to be a way for you to stay connected with me, because I am working on building my systems to not have to always be engaged. I have a family, I have a life, and I want to be able to pour into my business, which means I can't always be working on it. Sometimes I need to be helping build the systems and keep things going. So having this calendar is life-saving for not only you, but for me as well in terms of organization. So use the timestamps, watch them day by day, make sure that you're checking out the end for the weekly messages for your sign, and let's go ahead and get started. So I'm not going to focus too much, guys, on Monday and Tuesday, just because I'm recording it on Tuesday. So a lot of these energies would have already passed, but for those people who kind of want to go back and reference the video for Monday and Tuesday, I will still cover them, so you'll have access to that information. So Monday, we'll see that the moon is still waning in Taurus. So we are currently on Monday, June 7th, going to be in what we call the waning, the dark moon, the balsamic moon crescent phase, where the moon is dark, the moon is about to move into its new moon phase. And so this is a period of stillness. This is a period of release, of cleansing, of purification. A lot of astrologers and modern witches and things like that describe this as a period of banishing, a period of sacrifice and surrender. For me, that's a little dark. But for me, when I think about the dark moon period and the energies that come for me and my clients during the dark moon period, it's more so a period of reflection and refinement, where something is finally coming to completion, where this is a period where you can finally see how something has evolved. And so this is going to be, and for this specific individual instance, is going to be about the new moon in Taurus. We're coming back to the same place where the new moon was last month. And so this is an opportunity to see where those intentions have evolved, and utilizing those insights and how that has progressed, and utilizing that is fuel and fertilizer for the energies that are coming for the Gemini new moon. So this is a process of purification. Because this is happening in Taurus, we're thinking about the energies of the second sign. Taurus is a fixed earth sign. So there is this feeling of financial stability that comes with this. We're thinking about Venus here. So our desires, our preferences, our possessions, our assets, having these conversations, real conversations about your worth and your value, and the equity behind something, the equity of your gifts, maybe measuring, thinking about pricing, thinking about the contractual agreements, thinking about the areas of your life where you are liberating yourself from, where you have realized your worth, where you are coming outside of those boundaries. You'll see that on the 7th, we'll see the moon in Taurus conjunct Uranus in Taurus around 3:40 a.m. at that 12th degree of Pisces. So there's this feeling of empowerment, embracing change, understanding change on an emotional level, coming into alignment with those changes. The moon in Taurus will conjunct Uranus and Taurus every 28 to 30 days when this lunation occurs. So this is going to be an ongoing theme of coming back and rebuilding over and over again these changes that are going to be developing over the next 5 years, with 5 to 6 years with Uranus being in Taurus. So be mindful of that. Be mindful of the realities that you're awakening to, and the responsibility that you're taking for these assets and for these possessions, and the new opportunities that are coming for you through this sense of evaluation, through this sense of understanding your worth, through this sense of understanding how to correctly market yourself, how to correctly shape something. Something is starting to take shape. changes are starting to take physical shape, because we're talking about Taurus, which rules the physical shaping of Earth, right? When we think about Earth signs, Taurus is the only one that has a actual shape of something. It's fixed, whereas Earth, Virgo is very mutable, and Capricorn is very cardinal. So Taurus is the only one that is very grounded, and which is why it represents like dirt and plants and gardening and those types of things, growing hands comes from Taurus. So think about that, guys. And then on Tuesday, June 8th, we will see the dark moon continue its transit in Taurus. It will sextile Neptune in Pisces. So Monday night may be a very night where you're feeling very spiritual. You may want to do some meditations. You may be staying up later. You may be indulging in some more rest, or you may be, doing things that really enlighten you. Some of you, if you smoke or anything like that, this is a period where you may indulge in some sort of mind enhancing activities, or if you like to read, or anything that really allows you to feel grounded and to really reconnect to your spiritual center, and also helps you feel purified and rejuvenating and all of those things like that. Those energies are really good for Monday night, and that will kind of lead into early on Tuesday, because then the dark moon in Taurus is going to trine Pluto retrograde in Capricorn in the morning, and will also sextile, I believe it's Mars and Cancer, yes, and the later in the morning. So this is Tuesday morning is a really good time to complete something. If you have a project, if there's something related to your Capricorn house, so look to your house of Capricorn, something that you've wanted to complete, a business goal, a business plan, a pricing plan, a pitch, an investment pitch, anything like that. It's a really good time to kind of put that out there, to connect with power players. People can really help you transform your finances. This is the period where people are really starting to take that sense of financial responsibility more seriously. It may be because you have access to more resources, or because you are preparing to be able to manage more. A lot of people are preparing to really enter into a new level, a new tax bracket, a new business model. And so this is really trying to help you tie these loose ends up. And so that is helpful on Tuesday morning, especially with the dark moon in Taurus forming a sextile with Mars in Cancer, where the moon is exalted in Taurus. So the moon finds its strength. The moon finds its honor, its crown in Taurus, because the moon is so unstable, and Taurus is the most fixed of all the signs. So this is where the moon finds its stability, where emotions are more logical and practical, and are very slow to anger, slow to respond. We're a lot calmer. And so with Venus also so the moon and Venus are in mutual reception, which is a beautiful time period. Anyway, Venus rules Taurus is the domicile of Venus, and Cancer is the domicile of the moon. So they are in each other's rulership. So there's already this feeling of mutual reception right now, with the moon currently being in Taurus and Mars being right now in the later degrees of Cancer. And Mars and Cancer is actually in the same degree of itself. So the 28th degree rules Cancer, and so Mars is in Cancer. And so even though Mars is in its detriment, it falls in Cancer. This specific aspect is very important and supportive, to be able to have those conversations, to be able to really step into those energies, and to really be able to take action on some of these things. With Mars being in its detriment and its fall in Cancer, may have been very hard. You may have been a little sluggish. You may have found that it took a lot of energy to get something done, right? Because Cancer is motivated, but it's not motivated to act in the aggressive and assertive way that Mars likes to function in. So it feels very uncomfortable there. So it's you have to come of passive aggressiveness, and being okay with being more direct, and just understanding that everything doesn't have to be emotional, and you don't always have to personalize everything. Some things can literally just be what it is. It doesn't always have to be, you're trying to hurt me, or you're trying to, hold me back. No, that's just what it is. And this is how we're going to move forward. And so overcoming some of those emotional setbacks and expectations that we've set for ourselves, and that the society has kind of placed upon us, are going to be dissolving around this period. And so we can start to really move forward. This is also a period where you may find support or more insight or financial opportunities through women. So a female friend, a female component, women are going to start gathering more. We're going to start to see a rise in women's groups, women's organizations, more support and funding behind women's organizations that we already have with the women's small business movement. So just be on the lookout for that, guys, especially during Cancer season, when the sun in Cancer and all of that good jazz align with Uranus. So be mindful of those energies. And then on Tuesday evening, we'll see the new moon moving into the new moon phase in Gemini. Moving into the new moon phase in Gemini, and seeing that the new moon phase, the balsamic new moon waxing crescent, is going to form a square with Neptune. So Tuesday night can be really tired. There may be some late work that you have to do. You may have to fill in the gaps, or maybe some information that you missed, and something that you kind of have to go back and double check. So there's definitely this feeling of sluggishness, feeling emotionally overwhelmed. Some people may be feeling very frazzled. If you are partaking in alcohol or anything like that, just make sure that you are limiting yourself and being responsible, because Tuesday night, Taco Tuesday, can get really wild, y'all. Or you could be feeling very sad. You could be thinking about something. You could be having a very healing conversation, or you could be, again, just kind of feeling mentally overwhelmed. This is a period where you need to, I think in the interpretation, I was like, this is a period where you need to focus more so on making sure that you don't have unrealistic expectations for yourself, which is super important, because we'll actually see that aspect occur. I believe on the 12th is when we will see, it's the 13th. Oh, the 13th is when we'll see the sun in Gemini square Neptune and Pisces. So this same energy is going to be heightened for us this week. So let's just pay attention to that. So just be mindful of, when you are setting your new moon intentions, you want to make sure that you are setting new moon intentions that are realistic, because again, the sun is obscure. This is a solar eclipse, so there is this feeling of shadowedness and uncertainty and instability that comes with this transit, and especially with it being an immutable sign, things are bound to change. Let me just say that now. Situations, details, the wording, the small details of a contract, an agreement, a relationship are bound to change this month, and especially during this lunation transit for the next 2 to 3 weeks. So be open and expecting things to kind of switch up. So just go into situations knowing that there is this possibility for something to shift, and not being so attached to your intentions, and not setting things that are so grand that they overwhelm you, or that they scare you into not reaching them. I'm not saying shoot low. I'm just saying with this new moon also being in a tight square to Neptune, it's very important that you set these realistic expectations for yourself, that you aren't overlooking the facts out of the sense of hope and curiosity, and I'm just going to try it out, right? We're just going to try it out and see that Gemini energy, or being willing to play both sides of the situation, where I'm just going to play both sides, whoever wins. Like, no, don't do that. Pay attention to those red flags, and those areas of vulnerabilities, paying attention to the areas that are actually vulnerable for you through your Gemini house, paying attention to those vulnerabilities in your Gemini house, and that were really reflected to you during the full moon and lunar eclipse in Sagittarius that occurred 2 weeks ago. So be mindful of those energies, guys, because the new moon is also going to conjunct the North Node on the 9th. So this is going to be a day where things kind of come together. If you've been kind of waiting on a business opportunity, or you've been trying to complete something, this is an opportunity where the pieces come, things really fall into alignment. There is this act of fate, this hand of God, this act of synchronicity, this being at the right moment at the right time. When we're thinking about Gemini, it can be word of mouth. Somebody recommends you, somebody refers you. There is this coupon or opportunity, some a neighbor does something very neighborly, this act of like the Good Samaritan. You may be starting a new learning program. You may be getting approved for a learning program or starting a new course or starting a new training. A lot of people are going to be wanting to vocalize, starting new columns, starting new articles, starting new blogs, starting new podcasts, putting out new music, receiving recognition or receiving some sort of milestone, some sort of life-changing milestone for this area of their chart is going to be activated on not November, but June 9th, when the new moon is going to be activating the North Node in Gemini. And there's also going to be a lot of healing through friendships and through people that you grew up with, people that know you. There is this feeling of community. There is this feeling of support. Of people finally supporting your goals and hearing you and listening to you and really feeling heard. A lot of people are going to be feeling heard on the 9th, or you feel like you have come into a connection with someone who just understands you and who has similar interests and makes things easy. And there's this equal level of respect and equal level of communication, and they communicate on a mature level. There is this mature conversations that can really take place that is about forward movement and coming outside of selfishness and really thinking about things from a very group perspective is going to be a big thing for June 9th. And then on June 10th, guys, a day of the solar eclipse and the new moon, we are going to see this reach its peak on I keep wanting to say November, June 10th at around 6:42 a.m. So this is a strong day, right? Even though the new moon does not reach its peak until around 6:42 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, the energy is strong on the 9th. On the 9th and the 9th through the 13th is going to be a very strong new moon period. But we will feel this at its most intense around 6:42 a.m. So this is a good day to wake up early and meditate and really practice visualization. This is a week of really visualizing yourself and paying attention to the small steps, the small details that really are going to build that bigger picture, honoring those small details and prioritizing them, not skipping steps, not skipping out on the small matters. They really do build up, because we'll also see that the new moon in Gemini is going to be conjunct Mercury retrograde, and the sun, of course, is going to be conjunct Mercury retrograde, because the moon and the sun have to be at the same degree for them to be even create this new moon aspect. So there is a sense of alignment around this new moon, because one, the major aspects about it are, one, it's in alignment with Saturn. So there is a sense of support, there is a sense of ease, there is a sense of harmony, really building and investing and growing and creating these responsibilities and obligations and commitments and spending time with those individuals who are close to you, who you know, who support you, who understand your vision, who things that are easy for you, right? And I'm not saying, again, don't dream big, but a lot of people are not realizing that there are very small, easy tasks and professional goals that you can reach, like writing for your local newspaper or volunteering with the local community shelter. Like giving your time back in very small but very monumental ways is a big way to build your influence right now. You don't always have to be the biggest person on the block. You can be the biggest person on your street and have more clout and have more power and have more impact on the person who runs the whole neighborhood, just because you have those one-on-one interactions and that intimacy with the people who are closest to you. And so that's what this new moon is really about. It's about building intimate relationships. It's not all about knowing everybody and being everywhere at once. It's about being in an intimate connection with those individuals who are closest to you. And I'm not just talking about your family. I'm talking about your librarians. I'm talking about your gas station attendants. I'm talking about the managers of your local grocery stores. I'm talking about really getting connected with the people within your community and finding little resources and tools and materials that can help you build outward to this expansive vision that you have. Because right now, the full moon in Sagittarius was obscured, one, by Jupiter, which means that you may not be as being realistic about your expectations as you can. And two, you may be overexhausting yourself and your resources before you're ready. So trusting in your process, trusting in your specialization, not trying to be more than what you already are, but really honoring that knowledge and that resource, that base foundation that you have, because the small wins are really going to speak for you. So when we get to that Sagittarius new moon and when we get to this Gemini eclipse, you now have the community support and the small daily interactions and the small daily habits and the small daily schedules and just connections to be able to support those long-term bigger visions, those big projects, that big leap. These are the connections that you're building right now that are really going to support those endeavors and those ventures later down the road. And so very much about a new moon, about getting back in alignment with yourself, but also kind of re-understanding and rethinking about those relationships and those connections that you have from your past, possibilities, things that you may have overlooked, things that you may have not done enough research on, things that you may have rushed along, right? This new moon is occurring at the 19th degree of Libra. And so there is a sense of balance and equilibrium, things that you may have leaned too far to the left or leaned too far to the right or been too passive aggressive or not really advocated for yourself. And now you have this emotional understanding of who you are and whatever your needs are, so that you can create this dance, you can create this balance, you can create this sense of organization and this sense of harmony, especially with the new moon being conjunct Mercury retrograde at the 20th degree of Scorpio. There has to be this sense of order and this sense of discipline. There also has to be this sense of control. And so you yourself are having to learn how to control your thoughts, controlling your schedule, controlling your daily interactions, controlling the small things within your life. And that is really going to compound and give you more time and give you more energy and give you more power and more resources to really push forth your goal. Because a lot of people right now are going to be looking for sources and connections that can really support and finance the things that you're trying to do. And so, and help you outreach, expand, right? We're really thinking deeply about expansion. But with this new moon also being square Neptune and Pisces, again, there is a sense of maybe misunderstanding, and there's a blurred line. You may need to be focusing on boundaries, especially with the moon. I'm pointing at the screen like y'all can see my finger, especially with the new moon in Gemini square at the 23rd degree, which is ruled by Aquarius. There is a sense of community not really understanding, or the technologies you may need to, it could be something as simple as like a how-to video, how to use the platform, how to use software, giving them a breakdown of your expectations, trying to intellectualize it in a way that they can understand, speaking it in their language. There's also this sense of codependency, maybe being too dependent on outside resources for stimulation, for a sense of calm. And so there is a sense of having to find a way to really learn how to calm your own nervous system, really finding ways to support your work intrinsically. With Mercury being retrograde, a lot of the things that you're developing are going to come from within your circle. And it could be people who you have lost contact with, but again, there is still this sense of misunderstanding. And so some ideas and things like that, guys, are kind of misunderstood right now, especially with it being a new moon period. And so we are still in that place of darkness, that place of trying to understand something. So there is this sense of having to work it out to try to clarify it again, which is why it's important for us to really set realistic expectations and to write things down. This is a very good period to create an instruction manual for yourself. Write out your schedule, put it in a place that you can see it, put it in a place that you can reel it, put it in a place that you can touch it. You may need to have your schedule in multiple sources. Like I can have my schedule visually out like this, but I also need to make sure that I have my schedule written down as well. Otherwise, because I am someone who needs to check it off. Like I need to wipe it off. I need to write it off. I need to physically check it off. And so if you're someone like that, finding ways to really keep your intentions and keep your thoughts in front of you, because things can get lost in translation. Emotions tend to fluctuate, which can kind of influence your thinking. So things that you would think that you will remember, or things that you would want to say or want to make sure that you prioritize, could easily get lost because there is a sense of emotional overwhelm. There's also the sense of taking on too many responsibilities, which is why I'm just saying, again, lower your expectations. Venus is also going to be in a very beautiful sextile this weekend with Uranus. So this weekend is all about simplification. And so you going through this chaotic process of realizing where you may be over committing yourself is really kind of preparing you for this slowdown. And then on June 11th, we're going to see Mars enter into Leo, and we'll also see the moon move into Cancer. The moon is going to be void of course for a very long time. So the moon is going to actually be void of course from 1:38 p.m. until 3:23 a.m. on Friday, June 11th. So the 10th, the actual new moon day, is not a day to be active. It's actually a day to be still. So if you just have something that you just need to do, you just got to be active, y'all, then do it on Wednesday. Do not do it on Thursday because the moon will actually be void of course. So I would actually do my rituals, if you're doing them and you like to do them on the new moon, do them Wednesday nights, do them June 9th. Don't do them on June 10th, or wait until the morning of June 11th to do them, or June 11th evening, because there doesn't seem to be any other aspects happening that night that would challenge you. But the Venus in Cancer is also going to be moving towards a square with Chiron and Aries. So you could be feeling a little wounded. So I would do your rituals for your new moon intentions either June 9th, the evening, or June 11th, early in the morning. So as long as it's not between the moon void of course hours, which is why you should have access to the calendar. So anyways, so June 11th is a big day. Mars is actually going to be moving into Leo. So there is a sense of transition. Mars is moving out of Cancer, which is in its detriment. It doesn't like being in Cancer. The energy of Mars, which is action, fire. You think about Mars's rulership, it's Aries and Scorpio, fix, do it now, aggressive, assertive, very strong personalities. Cancer is the opposite. So it's important for us to think about how the planetary functions are going to be associated with each individual sign when we think about interpretation. Not how the sign is going to focus on the planet, it's how the planet is going to react based on the sign. So anyways, this is going to be a period where we are focused a lot on our creative actions. When we think about Mars, we think about our habits and our behaviors, how we go about doing something, our habituals, the things that we do, how we act things out, how we express our physical vitality. So with Mars being in Leo, we're going to want to do things in a Leo-like way. So things are going to be expressed out through drama, through theatrics, through art, through creativity, through sports, through action, through risk-taking, through spontaneity, through romance, through big gestures. People are going to want to do more. People are going to want to go above and beyond. People are going to really want to express their individuality and their creativity. People are going to want to be romantic. Sexuality is going to be more sensual and more foreplay and more exploration. So people whose Venus is in Leo, this is an opportunity for like a sexual rebirth, or for you to meet someone. So this is or your Jupiter is in Leo, this is a really good time for you to meet a new sexual partner, or to find new habits and to expand your realms in terms of your opportunities and how you go about achieving opportunities. It's going to be a really good time for you to manifest and to achieve a goal, to achieve a dream, if your native Jupiter is in Leo. But just check out your placements, because Saturn's also in Aquarius. So yeah, you might want to book a reading. But this is also a really good day in just terms of the lunar transits, because we will see the moon in conjunction with Venus. So lovers, family, this is a very beautiful time to really reconnect, to do something new, to start a new tradition, to spend some time. If you're awake and you're making love during these hours, your love will be very sweet and sensual. You're feeling very intuitive. You're feeling very nurturing, very motherly, maybe feeling very tired, maybe wanting to really nurture yourself, doing something, purchasing something new for your home, getting your house cleaned, cleaning out your car, whatever. This is a period for you to really just to refresh your surroundings, especially just with, like, for me, my house of Cancer rules my career. So this is probably something new, something in terms of maybe releasing a new aesthetic or posting something new when it regards to, or starting a new relationship, business relationship, on June 11th. And I actually think I have a new client on that day, so that's interesting. But on the 12th, we will actually see Venus move into a square with Chiron in Aries. And so there is this feeling of, you know, when we think about Venus is relationships and love, beauty, and Chiron is wounds. So there is some sort of trigger when it comes to your house of Aries and your house of Cancer, feeling blocked, feeling conflicted, feeling some sort of tension, feeling some sort of underlying irritation, some sort of aggression, not really being able to fulfill a desire, not being able to feel a need, feeling like something is discomforting to you, something is disruptive to you. Maybe airing out, talking, addressing a healing, acknowledging something, acknowledging a loss. Look to your house of Pisces for more clarity, just because this degree is going to be occurring at the 12th degree point, which rules Pisces. Also, this is a very challenging morning, just because the waxing crescent moon is going to square Chiron itself as well. So there is this feeling of just emotional upset, maybe being disrupted out of your sleep, or not having a good night's sleep, or being up late arguing, or having to again address some sort of wound. This is just a challenging day where you feel emotionally challenged. You may be feeling more irritable, you may be feeling more sensitive, more easily triggered. If it's not you, it could be someone around you, maybe more irritable, and that's just because maybe like you need to switch things up. Maybe you are, you know, having to step outside of your comfort zone, and there just needs to be some sort of communication about what each person needs. There may just need to be some, you may not just be communicating your needs officially, and it could just be easily dealt with, y'all, with the conversation. So do not allow this energy to make you come out your skin, just because the sun in Gemini is going to be square Neptune in Pisces on the 13th. So there is this feeling of, again, mental confusion, a lack of focus, a lack of distraction, not really being distracted by a group. You may be around people, you may not have the space that you need to really clarify, keep your head clear. And so there is this desire to really get in nature. We'll see Venus is going to be sextile Uranus and Taurus as well on the 13th. So this is a really good period to spend time in nature and to really indulge in the simple luxuries of life and do the things that really support you. Getting outside, going for a walk, especially with your family, or with your loved ones, or making trying a new meal, you know, eating somewhere different. This is an opportunity to just kind of try something new. But again, think about simple luxuries, simple things that you can do: drinking a warm cup of tea, watching the sunset, watching the sunrise, going for a walk, getting on a paddle boat, like very simple things. You don't always have to be giving your partner a massaging your own shoulders. Like I'm telling y'all, I'll be massaging myself down. So it's just very simple things that can just remind your body to relax, and giving you access. It doesn't matter how rich you are or how poor you are. This weekend, I really want you to really find something simple that can really help you ground down and appreciate what you have and what you are attracting, especially with the waxing crescent moon and going to be forming a trine early or late, really late Saturday, late June 12th, and starts on June 13th. But that morning, the moon is going to be void, of course. So this is not the best day to like go out. This is actually a really good weekend to kind of stay grounded, kind of detox from all the Memorial Day festivities. If you do have to go out and about, people are probably going to be very emotional. People are going to be feeling very distracted. It's a really good day to just kind of watch TV, sit out, go for a picnic, Venus is in Cancer, so that's land. Uranus is in Taurus, that's food. A really good time to kind of switch things up and go to a new park, or go for a walk or something like that. But just take things easy, because this was actually supposed to be, so just take things easy. So yeah, guys, so that's actually the end of this week. And now we are going to go over into the weekly messages for your sign. So I will see you guys over there. So Yes, let's see you there. All right, air signs, what is up? We are here for your weekly message, and this is almost like your new moon message, unless you are a part of the Insiders Club and you are listening to your new moon eclipse messages. So this is your weekly message for Gemini, Libra, and Aquarius. So for starters, I wrote some notes for this one because this is a very pivotal week, right? Hold on, y'all. This is a very pivotal week. No, that's my new moon in Gemini notes. My mama calling me. All right. Okay, yeah, boom. So air signs. This week, the beginning of the week, we have the dark moon in Taurus, right? So the dark moon in Taurus. Stop calling me, mom. Let me put my phone. Y'all, this is so wretched. So the dark moon is in Taurus, guys. For my air signs, this is going to be activating your water houses. This is going to be activating your 12th house, your 8th house, your 4th house. So this is a period of sensitivity. We are in a period where the moon is already shedding, where you are already going through this period of transition, where you're more aware and you're more complacent. You're more okay. You're more accepting. You're more. She does not stop calling me. You're more aware, you're more complacent, you're more in alignment of the healing that needs to be done. You are in a very open place when it comes to the level of responsibility, when it comes to your personal finances, when it comes to your possessions, when it comes to how you go about emotionally handling your business, how you go about emotionally really yeah. Okay, sorry about that. Like literally my mom wasn't going to stop calling. But so this is a week of you emotionally coming to terms with yourself, with your financial obligations, with the responsibilities, with the commitments, with decisions that you've made in the past, previous financial decisions, previous relationship and intimacy decisions, when it comes to your family, when it comes to your significant other, when it comes to ways that you may have sacrificed or neglected your sense of self-worth or your fundamental needs, where you weren't fulfilling your needs fully. You're starting to aware and starting to forgive yourself. This is a dark moon period, so this is a phase of forgiveness, of really coming into, again, alignment with what you cannot control and what you do have control over. So finding that separation and that balance between blame and accountability, forgiveness and recognition, like really finding that balance about y'all can tell the moon has moved into Gemini now when I'm re-recording this. So this is a time where you are just really, again, honoring the release, honoring where it's more so from a place of observation. A lot of air signs are going to be starting the week. Lord have mercy, y'all. I just cannot get a break. Don't record Morgan when the moon is in Gemini. So this is a period where you're more so observing your level of awareness. You're observing where you are being more encouraged to release. It's not necessarily an act of doing, right? We're in a dark moon period, so you're not necessarily being asked to act on something. It's more for a period of just observing and just seeing, like, this is the result of this. This is why I'm feeling this. And to accommodate, to overcome, I'm just going to allow this process to pass. And the things that you can take control over in the areas of your life where you are being asked to really step into responsibility, this is a period for you where you are honoring that. And then when we move into the middle of the week, we start to get into those new moon and Gemini energies, where this is a trine or conjunction to your air placement. So there is a feeling of similarity, familiarity, an ample amount of mental energy, right? Because this is a mutable air sign. So this is a very mentally stimulating period for you. But because this can be a trine or a conjunction aspect, it can almost be overwhelming for a lot of air signs, where this is also kind of ushering you away from the observation and the cleansing and the healing energy of the beginning of the week, and now starting to allow yourself to ease back into your normal routine. A lot of air signs have found the past 4 weeks, we're coming out of that Taurus lunar cycle, have been very restorative, have been very healing. You've been very isolated. You may have not been as social. You may not have been as expressive when it comes to your intimate relationships. You may have been more quiet, you more been introspective. And now this is a period where you can start to talk about those things. You can start to share those things. You're feeling more comfortable. You're feeling more like yourself. You're starting to come back into alignment with yourself in the middle of the week, coming back into your normal routines, your normal communications and things like that. That energy of kind of coming back home and getting back started is going to be coming for a lot of air signs midweek. And then the end of the week, when we see the moon move into Cancer and we start to see some of those major aspects, like the sun in Gemini square Neptune in Pisces, and also Venus in Cancer sextile Uranus in Taurus, there is going to be this feeling of challenge and rebirth, and really asking you to pay attention to those houses of responsibility, of your work, of professionalism, of your career, of your long-term investments, of the things that you're really directing, the navigation, the direction that your life is going. You're really taking a moment to really retreat, to relax, and to simplify. So for a lot of people, you're going to want to just do this week, but this is not a week of action for air signs. This is a week of reflection and really just acceptance, forgiveness, coming to terms with the changes happening in your life, really trying to get a vision. For a lot of air signs, this is a week of kind of allowing the pieces to come together, writing things out, having conversations with friends and loved ones, kind of bouncing off your ideas, spending time in meditation and reflection. So be quiet this weekend. Spend time with your loved ones, spend time with your family, but also make space for yourself. Make space to really be able to hold your thoughts. Make space to really be able to communicate your thoughts. Make space to really be able to understand what it is that you're feeling yourself, so that when you speak, when you express, with the new moon this week being conjunct Mercury retrograde, you're doing things in a clarified way. There's a clear vision around what it is that you're doing. And this week right now, things are still a little bit uncertain. So although you do have a clearer picture of where you're going, the pieces that you're wanting to put together, again, at the beginning of the week is about observation. The middle of the week is really about things starting to clear. And then the end of the week is about refinement and just kind of coming to terms with those things and kind of letting it go, because you'll be starting the week off. There's going to be some fires that you need to put out with Saturn in Aquarius being in a direct and exact square with Uranus. So there is some fires that you have to put out, which is why I'm telling you, spend this weekend relaxing, spend this weekend trying to really just focus on the overall direction. The moon will be in Cancer, even though this for you is your professional houses, your houses of work, your houses of recognition. This is still going to be a time where for you, it's about what's happening behind the scenes. It's not necessarily what is coming to the surface. However, with Mars moving into Leo this week, this is an opportunity for you to really reflect on your relationships, on your connections, on your friendships, on how the people in your life that know you, that support your gifts, that support your talents, that support your endeavors, really just spending time, focusing on doing the things that you love, and really making space for that. A lot of your focus has been on responsibilities, family obligations, priorities, kind of focusing, refining, building things behind the scenes. And now with Mars moving into Leo, things are starting to become more active, more productive, and more creative. And so this will form, for some of you, a sextile for my Gemini and my Libra placements, and for my Aquarius placements, folks, this will form an opposition. So be mindful of that, guys. And sorry for all of the texts and the phone calls in the beginning. Everybody wanted to talk to me. So fire signs this week, this is your weekly message, Aries, Leo, and Sagittarius, for June 7th through June 13th. So the beginning of the week, we'll see the dark moon in Taurus. This is going to really be affecting your financial houses, your houses of possessions, your income, how you earn, how you allocate your funding, your resources, your investments, your self-worth, all of those things like that, your values, your possessions, your material items, things like that are going to be requiring refinements. You may be in a process where you are renegotiating. This may be a period where you are having to complete a project or complete an agreement. This is also a period where you may be reshaping your finances, reshaping your budget. This may be an opportunity where you are finally closing on a negotiation and new terms when it comes to a new job or new profession or new income stream, new passive income stream, new ways of you really embodying your sense of self-worth, really trusting yourself, trusting your process, trusting what you have, trusting that you have what it takes to fulfill your essential needs, your essential responsibilities. All of those things of just reassurance for a lot of air signs is what's going to be coming up this week, is reaffirming that you have the capability and the resources and the stamina. I think for a lot of fire signs, it's about the stamina. You have the stamina to really see this through. You have the stamina to really see this through to completion, right? And so it's about perseverance, it's about practicality, it's about resourcefulness, sustainability. All of those things are going to be super important for you. So this is a period for you to sorry, my kid just interrupted me, y'all. So like, oh, this is getting on my nerves. But so this is a week for you to what was I saying? I can't even remember. But anyways, guys, this is a week for you to really come into terms with your value. Again, this is a week for you to really come into terms with the beginning of the week of your possessions, and again, the stamina, and knowing that you can do something, knowing that something can be completed, knowing that you are deserving of something. It's important for you to just be mindful of that, be mindful of finding ways to really reaffirm that your capabilities, reaffirm your value, reaffirm your worth. There are going to be people and opportunities and experiences that are brought to you that kind of remind you that, like, yes, you are worthy, you are valuable, and who you say you are is not a scam. So, you know, if you are thinking about how am I going to approach this person, or how does this look like coming from me, trusting really in your worth, trusting in your value, and trusting in your capabilities is what's really going to be essential for you guys during the beginning of the week when you are coming out of your comfort zones and having those important conversations. So now the new moon in Gemini, the solar eclipse in the middle of the week, is going to bring you these energies of support when it comes to your relationships, when it comes to your creativity, when it comes to how you connect with other people. This is going to be an area where you are really thinking about your friendships, you're thinking about your community, you're working with your clients, you're really finding ways to express yourself, looking at new platforms, looking at new business models and new communication models, new communication streams, updating your communication portfolios, updating how often, the frequency of your communications. You may be slowing things down, you may be simplifying, or you may be increasing. Some of you may be even looking to outsource some of your tasks, some of your obligations. If you have the resources to outsource, to pass something along to a virtual assistant, or to hire an editor, or to hire a babysitter for some of you, so that you can free up your time. This is going to be a period of efficiency for a lot of people this week. And so for fire signs, it's going to be about how efficient you can manage your interactions, how efficient you can manage your relations, and really and leveraging those relationships to really attract the opportunities and the intentions that you're trying to manifest and attract. So it's super important for you to pay attention to that, pay attention to the relationships, to pay attention to the connections that you're making, establishing those connections. Again, the sun is obscured because we are talking about a solar eclipse this week. So for fire signs, your desires may be shadowed, or your sense of attention. So you may not have as much attention as you usually will have, or your desires may not have as much attention as they typically would have. But this doesn't mean that it won't happen. It just means that it may happen in an unusual way, or it it may, again, deviate outside of its normal routine, or this may come later in life or later at a different time. Again, when the moon is in Gemini, so maybe at the first quarter moon, the full moon, or the last quarter moon, you may see these relationships and these same associations come back to you. So pay attention and write down the names of the people that you talk to. I always write down who I talk to every day, because I promise you, you will talk to these people again when these same energies are aspected. No lie. So paying attention to who you are connected with. If you have connections, being a sense of a network or a connector for other people. This energy doesn't always have to manifest for yourself. You may be the connector. You may be linking this person with that person and bringing people together, integrating ideas, helping someone refine consulting work. This is a very good week for you to kind of maybe help someone else bring revelation to their dreams and their desires, or for you to align your goals and values with someone else, so that there's a shared act of mutability and balance and equilibrium, which really reflects the energy of the new moon in Gemini, just because it occurs at the 19th degree, which is ruled by Libra. So that's important for you. Now, the end of the week is essential because it's starting to move into your most sensitive houses, your water houses, your 4th through 8th and your 12th house, just depending on your rising sign and how your house is aligned based on the degrees. If you go by Placidus or whole sign, it's different, it varies. So this is a period where things are really slow. You may be coming off a high. You may have had a very interactive week. You had a lot of connections, conversations, interactions in the middle of the week when the solar eclipse is in Gemini. Now the moon is waxing in Cancer, and so now you are starting to process, refine, and really and interpret that information, and really take it and sit with it behind the scenes. So some of you are going to be chewing on something this week, and there's going to be something that keeps coming back to you over and over again and kind of stirs up an emotional reaction in you. So give yourself time to process this information, give yourself time to process this emotion, and really just see where it takes you. Venus is also going to be in a harmonious and supportive sextile with Uranus. So there are going to be some supportive changes coming for you when it comes to your finances. So if things are feeling a little bit uncertain for you, you may see some progress on Sunday. But let's also be mindful that Saturn is still in a tight, and moving forward is a what is it? Applying, it's moving forward, it's waxing towards its second square with Uranus. And also we are going to see the sun in Gemini square Neptune in Pisces that day. So things are not very clear. Your desires, your wants are not clear. So you may need to clarify and rein in what it is that you're actually trying to do. So yes, love you guys. Sorry for the interruptions. I'll see you guys next week. Earth signs. So Taurus, Virgo, Capricorn, this week's energies are interesting for you because we start the week off with the dark moon in Taurus. So the week starts off with you feeling very easeful, very slow. You are in your element. You may be feeling your earthly energies more. You may be feeling more organized. You may be feeling more efficient. You may be feeling more productive, more studious, more determined. There is a sense of wanting to really persevere, wanting to put things in order, wanting to shape something, shaping an idea, shaping your finances, shaping a proposal, shaping a business plan, shaping a relationship. There's something sort of organizing and putting stronger boundaries and stronger structures to make something more sustainable, to make something more attractive, and to make something more feasible, right? And so invaluable as well. It also makes something more valuable because you kind of hone it in, and you are now highlighting the key essential aspects of something rather than giving someone this 30-minute spiel. People really know what it is you're trying to say or do or achieve in a very clear, concise, and constructive manner. So that's what the first beginning of the week is about for you, is really allowing yourself to see where things are made, loose ends that need to be tied up, financial institutions, professional institutions with banks, all of those things like that, tying up those loose ends, having these conversations, reaching out to mortgage people. Like, you're just in that place of wanting to put your affairs in order. So be mindful of those energies. They're very supportive for you during the beginning of the week. There may be some feeling of loss, maybe some feeling of a realization where you may not be where you want to be, or you may have more responsibilities or obligations, or something may not be as accessible to you. There may be this feeling of scarcity or limitation, but allow yourself to breathe through that. But also do not be overly optimistic or overly hopeful, just because this week the new moon and solar eclipse, and also the sun will be in a square with Neptune Neptune in Pisces, and Neptune is about to station retrograde on the 27th. So this is a period where I think it's the 25th actually. I don't know. It's at the end of the month, yo. Don't listen to me now. I think the 27th is when Venus enters into Leo. That's probably why the 27th is on my mind. But I think it's the 25th that Neptune retrograde into Pisces. Anyways, it's on the calendar and it's on the website. So figure it out. But this is a period where things are a little sketchy, and you may be we're more vulnerable, we're more suspected, we're more hopeful. So we are more subjective to some sort of deception or illusion or disagreement or misunderstanding. So things can be blurry, details can be blurry. And for you, this is going to be affecting your finances and affecting your work and affecting your professional goals. So making sure that you're taking the time to do that extra step when it comes to the details and the organization of information is going to be essential for earth signs. Is double checking and making sure that you have X, Y, and Z, you've addressed X, Y, and Z, you've hit your checklist. So having a written and visual representation of what needs to be done, when needs to be done, and all of those things like that, getting your productivity and efficiency in order is key for earth signs this week, especially when the dark moon is in Taurus on the 7th and the 8th. But when we move into the energies of the new moon and Gemini solar eclipse on the 9th, the 10th, and the 11th, there is this feeling of again, organization and an opportunity to really network, to connect, to diversify, to create partnerships, to create collaborations, to learn, to train, to educate. Some of you may be thinking about teaching, finding money, or incorporating income streams through teaching or education in some format through your niche, whatever your interests are, whatever your studies are. Some of you also are going to be relying on your early associations, finding accountability partners, finding mentors, finding business partners, finding, just expanding your social network with people that you grew up with, people that you knew from school, people that college professors and things like that. This is an opportunity to kind of reach out to those people who have really played a hand in your evolution, who now can reap from those rewards, can invest in you, can support you in new ways, and really diversify. This is going to be a time for you to capitalize on those relationships and establish contact. Again, the sun is obscured, so external desires may not be as easily accessible. So you may not be able to solidify and physically contact and connect with these people, but this is a very good time to just plant that seed and get in their mind and stay there and really just allow yourself to be heard and be seen and be recognized, becoming more present, becoming more socially present, becoming more socially active, making sure that you are consistently showing up and are in front of people or sending out messaging or communicating. There needs to be some more consistency in your communication output. And that's what this new moon in Gemini and solar eclipse is really encouraging you. It's showing you where you're scattered. It's showing you where things are blurry. It's showing you where things are kind of falling into the void. Things are falling into the wasteland. Things are going not understanding rules, regulations, missing out on opportunities from a lack of reading, from a lack of discipline, from a lack of mental understanding. So this week is really asking you, especially the new moon and the Gemini solar eclipse, are really asking you to kind of get in alignment with that and to stay there. And then this weekend, guys, we'll see the moon move into Cancer, waxing into its crescent form, and it's in the first stages of the lunation. And so this is a period of relationships for you. If you've wanted to reconnect to an intimate partner, if you wanted to spend some more time with family, if you wanted to, talk to your children, or if you wanted to reach out to a parent, this is an opportunity for you to kind of nestle in, do something fun, do something easy and simple. It doesn't have to be dramatic. It can just be something as simple as a walk, really doing something that supports your relationships, showing some attention to loved ones, making sure they know that you are there, that you're present, and that you care for them is going to be essential for you this weekend, because that is going to kind of help you feel grounded and kind of take some of your mind and that pressure off those other financial and professional obligations that are happening for you right now. So That's what I've got for my earth signs. And finally, water signs. So Cancer, Scorpio, Pisces, this is a period of healing for you. At the beginning of the week, there is a big focus on your relationships. The dark moon in Taurus is focusing on your partnerships, how you connect, making sure that you have shared values. When it comes to time, there may be some issues in regards to time and scheduling. You may have to work with each other's schedule. There may be some feelings of not really understanding, not really feeling heard, not really feeling like you may be getting the attention that you deserve. And it may not necessarily be from your current partner. It could be from previous experiences or previous memories of going back into the past, or you are now finally acknowledging these areas of your life that you neglected and what you don't want to experience in relationships. You don't want to experience abandonment. You don't want to feel neglected. You are finally coming into terms with someone who does see you, who does appreciate you, and who is making an effort. So even if you're not from that spectrum, you may be appreciating where you were. So even if you have evolved from that place of not feeling seen, not feeling heard, you can recognize, and you're more grateful and you're more appreciative and you're more vocal about expressing your appreciation for those people who do see you, who do go out of their way to make those adjustments, who do make those changes, who has made a positive impact and influence over your life and how you love, whether it's romantically or platonically. It's an opportunity for you to really address and show appreciation for where you are, where you have been, and where you would like to go. So regardless of where you are in that spectrum, if you're at a place where you're realizing that you deserve better, if you've realized that and you've left, or if you've attracted that and now you're giving thanks for it, this is an opportunity where some cycle is completing when it comes to your relationships and how you've loved and how you've been treated in the past and where you are and how you are going to be treating now and moving forward in the future. And then in the middle of the week, we will start to see the energy start to kind of shift for you. This may be more emotional. You may be more nostalgic. You may be having more conversations about healing, about traumatic experiences from your childhood, about your past, things that you have learned from emotional experiences that have helped you learn, friendships that have had an emotional impact on your life, friendships that have had an influence on you, intimate partnerships that had an emotional relationship impact on you, because a new moon and solar eclipse is starting over in your house of endings, healings, and transformation. So there is this process of rebirth. There is this process of releasing, but at the same time being open to attracting those new relationships and actually receiving them. A lot of you are stepping into these energies where things are aligning and healing and traumatic processes and traumas and experiences and ways that you've really neglected yourself and not listened to your inner voice and not listened to your intuition and not acted on those higher callings. You're now starting to realize where those levels have limited you, and you're more aware and you're more willing to step into those spaces. You're more willing to trust yourself. You're more willing to honor your boundaries. You're more willing to vocalize your needs and to stand by them, right? Because when we think about mutability of Gemini has a hard time making a decision. And it's not necessarily doesn't make a decision. It just thinks that it's open to everything, right? And so there is this sense of air is, you can't contain air. So there is a sense of finally realizing where you may have overgiven or where you may have sacrificed, with Neptune being in Pisces, where you took on someone else's energy or where you allowed a situation to be more than what you knew it's supposed to be. This is an opportunity for you to come into alignment with that, for you to nurture that, especially for my Pisces placements folks. This is an opportunity for you to realize where and take action towards healing that, to transforming that, to really rebirthing that. And that comes from this recognition of, this is why, this is where this has led me, this pain, this experience, this loss, this whatever, this new marriage, whatever it is, this is why, this is the journey, and this is where I'm going, and this is what I choose to take with me. So you now have the opportunity to choose your emotional response. You now have the opportunity to choose joy, to really transgress and to really evolve into joy, and to leave behind all of the resentment and anger and the hostility that comes with those emotions, and just trusting and fate, trusting in destiny, and trusting in the process, and seeing that you are going to see familiar spirits and old energies, especially because this is your house of emotion. So these are where your emotional truths are unburied. So a lot of you may be feeling very watery, even though this is an air week. So you may be more lovable, you may be more expressive, you may want to talk about your feelings more, you may be more poetic. This is an opportunity. You may be more drawn to music or writing love letters or documenting your love, or going through scrapbooks and just going down memory lane with the solar eclipse in Gemini. And then this weekend, the moon will move into Cancer, kind of easing some of that emotional mental tension and really allowing you to relax into your own energy, to really indulge, to really wind down. So just be mindful of that. The moon in Cancer will not, it will challenge Chiron in Aries. So there is a sense of having to deal with fears, having to deal with your fears regarding your personal assets, your career, your long-term goals, your future. A lot of you may be worried about the future. Like, is my future sustainable? Your future family and your future business. Like, a lot of you may be stressing about things that are not necessarily happening, but you're also more aware that the path that you're taking right now is very constructive and conducive to your future family, your legacy, your business, your employees. All of the decisions and things that you're doing today are even more highlighted right now about your future. So there is this feeling of like this internal pressure that you're feeling on yourself. But because this energy is trine or conjunct your own, I want you to understand that it is self-imposed. Okay, it is self-imposed. It is coming from your own expectations. So my water signs, if you feel like this weekend things start to bubble up and you start to feel like, oh my God, I don't have enough time, all of these things, I want to do all of this, how am I going to do it? Chill out, okay? Because it's you are putting the pressure on yourself, and you have time, right? Time is something that is very valuable right now, just because Saturn is in a applying towards its square with Uranus. And so there is this feeling of the Lord of time and the Lord of change. So feeling like time is urgent, but you have it. It's just all about simplification. And with Venus sextile Uranus this weekend in a water and earth sign, these are favorable for your water and your earth placements. So this is an excellent period for you to relax and to remind yourself of how good it feels when you allow yourself to enjoy the moment and to just relax. So I love you guys. I am done yapping. The end of the video was funny because literally the moon was in Taurus when I started and the moon was in Gemini when I finished. And literally, like, I'm getting phone calls and text messages. People are blowing me up while I'm trying to film. So sorry about that, y'all. My Mac is interesting. I need to figure out how to silence my text messages while I'm filming. So if you guys have a Mac computer, Apple products, and you know how to do that for your Mac and your MacBook, please let me know. So I love you guys. Like, subscribe, and I'll see you guys soon for more content. Peace. Bye.